With the Weber Kettle Club. I'm here in Chicago for the 5th annual meetup. This is the 5th year we've done this because the site is 5 years old. We have 100 vintage kettles here in the backyard today, not including what's in Brian's garage or shed because I can't show you everything. I'm sorry. But I'm gonna give you a tour and I'm gonna show you all the grills and I'll show you all the people and show you all the food. It's a bitchin' event. Sorry that you missed it. It's 10 a.m. and 78 degrees already in Chicago. The grill fellas are already geeking out.
It's done. Somebody could fix that. This thing's gone. It's gone. It's gone. Nothing we can do about it. It's just gone. I like that. It's just gone. Nice vanilla creamy. It's kind of like your modern white whale. Yeah.
Some no grates in it.
That almost looks.
We're the Weber Kettle Club, so instead of bringing a dish to pass, this party is bring a dish to cook. This half of the yard is dedicated for cooking. Luckily, Brian has a few extra grills to put out over here so people can cook on them. Meanwhile, in the other half of the backyard, of course, there's more kettle heads perving over these old grills.
Yeah, the front wheels they turn this way, but they don't roll. But you can bring them up quick enough.
No need
the
to
back
roll
ones roll really well. The rubber's in good shape.
Right on. Oh, this is awesome.
Kettle Club members travel from all over the country to get to this event, and they usually bring a grill or two to show off or to trade.
I showed her a picture. I said, "Look, it's gonna match the deck, table and chairs." And she said, "Oh, man, well, I'll have to see it."
1977, 78, 79 over here.
The day has barely begun, and there are already more than 50 vintage grills in this backyard. In just a matter of hours, that number will double to 100. We'll have 100 grills in this backyard, and this first row here is reserved for the oldest kettles. All of these guys here are really old. These are the Wooddales. These Wooddales were made from 1958 to 1962, when Weber was in Wooddale, Illinois, before they moved to Arlington Heights. Later on in the video, we'll come back through all these old grills with Craig, the Weber Kettle Club historian, literally the man who has figured out most of the Weber grill history seen here today. We're going to come through and Craig is going to explain all of the changes and all of the evolutions of the Weber kettle over the years, and we'll walk through this row of history and we'll listen to the man geek out. It's pretty amazing. Who's this? As we get closer to lunchtime, the Weber Kettle Club chefs are pretty busy getting all their food done. The neighbors are probably very confused. Or who knows, after 5 years, they're probably used to crap like this. Hit that thumbs up button if you saw the neighbor's black kettle over there as well. The other half of the yard has filled out, and from the drone view it looks like a bag of Skittles has been dumped all over the place. The furthest corner over there is dedicated for Jeff K. Jeff is one of the very first Weber kettle collectors, believe it or not. He's the guy that got me into this. Special thanks to Kettle Club member Jeff Boltz for bringing the drone. Here's a closer look at the Jeff K corner. Jeff has one of the most pristine collections of Weber kettles in the world. Jeff rents a van to bring a small sampling of his collection to show us. He even brought his 26-inch Blue, which has never really been produced. It's a one-of-a-kind grill.
KC historian.
Yes, sir.
What's up with the hammer on the blue on the other way?
Alright, perving on all these kettles has made me hungry. Let's go check on lunch.
They suck in your gut, Troy's filming.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I hurried up and did. See that I poofed out my chest and sucked in my gut?
Member Jabiv traveled all the way from Georgia just to grill these flanken-cut Korean-style bulgogi short ribs on this 1965 red Weber Ranger. What a treat.
Oh, shit, yeah.
And they're infused with Jack Daniels to boot.
I'm pretty sure I ate half of those little Jack Daniels infused bacon-wrapped Smokies.
All right, Hank, what do we got here?
And if we get hungry, I've got 3 racks of ribs here that I put on the kettle at about 6 o'clock this morning, and at about 11 o'clock they were done. Without any intervention, I'm just rewarming them now.
Looks fantastic.
They will be, I think. I hope.
Every club member that shows up goes home with a one-of-a-kind Chicago Annual Meetup 5th Anniversary wooden handle and a special edition Chicago Meetup sticker. And thanks to member and club donations, we got a huge pile of door prizes to give out. This is incredible. Look at all the cool stuff that people are getting. Special thanks to member Jeff Boltz, who donated an avocado grill earlier in the year. We sold it off on eBay and used the proceeds to afford a bunch of these Weber accessories and the wooden handles that you see. There's so much prizes and there's so much food and so many grills. What an epic, epic day, and Brian's backyard is absolutely perfect for this. Thank you, Brian, so much for allowing all of this chaos to come into your backyard. Thank you for hosting us.
Can I interrupt for just a moment? Sure. While Brian's in your shot, thank you so much for hosting this.
Yes.
Thank you, Brian.
Yes, thank you, Brian.
Working and making this happen.
Absolutely. Thanks, Hank.
I'm just glad everybody likes to come and have a good time.
Yes.
The space is nice. Now, did everybody get a handle on the sticker?
I did, thank you.
Everybody?
Yes, thank you very much.
We had so much stuff to give away that every single member who attended won one of the door prizes.
Hey!
Congratulations.
No, there was only one up there, I guess.
Right on.
Show us what you got, since you're the only one that's close enough to be in the video.
Go ahead,
We
Dan.
got a roast holder. We got a sweet
Vent poster, that's
vent
nice.
poster. We got a 22 ash pan. We got a 18.5 cover.
Greg, show me what you got.
We got a calendar. Hold on. Well, it's
I got the tap.
got a calendar.
Wait, can you show us a page of that calendar? Ooh, poster.
I got the charcoal rake, which I'm really excited about. And I got the shish kebab.
Oh, nice. Can you show us a couple pages of that calendar? Maybe flip through it?
Flip through to July.
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 North.
July, the underside of a sweet
Oh,
potato.
yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
I'll let you guys fight it out.
All right, I'm here with Craig. Craig is the Weber Kettle Club historian.
Guys.
Craig and I are going to walk through the oldest grills at the Chicago Meetup and talk about their age and what's changed over the years. Let's go.
All right. This is about 1954, 1955, 22 and a half kettle. Very early. It is the oldest kettle in Weber Kettle Club's possession. And it is it still has the flat lid. That's how old this thing is. If you look at some of the other ones, they have the dome lids. The Weber Kettle was redesigned in 1956. So this one has the low profile lid with the very heavy duty grates. Another thing that makes this grill unique, it only has, some of you may be familiar with the daisy wheels on the bottom. It only has one daisy wheel in the rear of the bowl. And then of course the top lid vent, that's it. So these don't get nearly as hot with the lid on as some of the later kettles would. And I think they found that they needed some more heat in the grill, so they added some more daisy wheels when they did the redesign.
All right.
Metal lid, metal bowl handles, thumb screws, of course. This is a little bit shorter on this flat lid one here.
All right, so what's the deal with these customs, Craig?
All right, these are the custom kettles. These are from the mid-late 1950s. This one that you're focusing on here, Troy, this is a white custom, kind of reverse of what was in the Weber catalogs in the 50s. It's white with the kind of black crazing squiggly lines there. What that actually is called chromavale. Very popular decor, popular form of decor from the 1950s. Lots of tea kettles, coffee pots, vases, and of course Weber barbecue kettles had this finish in the mid-late 50s. Now over here is a black custom with the yellow chromavale. As these are rare, but as chromavale custom kettles go, these are a little more common than the white one. That's the 22. This is the 18 right here, variation. These kettles from the 50s did not have the circular ash pans underneath. They had what's called a triangular utility shelf. Some of us have referred to them as ash triangles. Like this over here, this is a replica of an early style where they used a bend brake to make the sharp corners. And then later on they went to kind of a rounded corner.
Nice.
In the utility shelves.
And here we have some Glen Blues.
Yeah, these Glen Blues, these are from the early 1960s, about 1962, 63. As you can see by then, they changed to the familiar spoked triangle and the thicker black steel wheels with the white walls.
Nice.
And of course, the more familiar twist-on disc ash pan. Originally, the disc ash pans had swivel clips. I don't have an example in front of me of those, but this is the twist that they switched to around 63. Again, thumb screws to hold the legs in on all of these. They did not go to the friction yet. And here we've got some red from about the same era as those blues. These are all made in Wooddale, Illinois. So a lot of times you'll hear these metal top handles, metal lid handles known as, referred to as Wooddale kettles, based on where they were made. Very, very bright red. And then here, right in front of us here, we have what's called the Traveler. This did not come with a triangle or wheels. It was meant as a like a camping grill, take it with camping or on like fishing trips, whatnot. The legs easily were removable with thumb screws. Just take them out, put them in your vehicle. It did have the daisy wheels on the bottom, 3 daisy wheels, just like a regular 18 kettle of the era. In the middle lid handle. Traveler was made for several years, well into the 1970s. Perfect. Right over here, this is one of the oldest known 26ers in the club. This is referred to by the Weber Kettle Club as Grandpa. This was a black kettle originally, faded to gray, obviously quite a bit of very nice patina. This is a fan favorite, a club favorite actually. Wooddale, of course. These were known as the Fleetwood when they were introduced. In 1962, this one's about 62, 63. Very early black 26er. And then over here we have a demo from the early 60s rather, with the metal handle. These were likely used at hardware stores, road shows, conventions, things like that to show off the greatness that is the Weber kettle. Some 18 Wooddales over here. Some nice patinas. I think, what did we say? We had 16 Wooddales here today? Or 19 or 20.
19 or 20.
Yeah, quite a few Wooddales with all the metal handles. So then we get into about 1964. Weber changed from the metal handle to the walnut wood handle. They still kept the metal bowl handles. These are what's known as MBHs, or in this case thumb screw MBHs from the 60s. And we get over here. There's the red 26. Those started in the wood lid handle era about 1964-65. Also known as the Aristocrat. And then here's an older Rancho. This is a late 60s, about 1967-68 thumb screw red 22. Weber was beginning to do some changes in the very late 60s with their kettles. What they started doing, they started switching away from metal hubcaps on their metal wheels, steel wheels, to plastic in about 1968. And then in 69, they went to a friction-based socket, which did not require thumb screws anymore, which we'll have some examples of those over here. And then in 1968, Weber introduced the Imperial Sequoia. This was their first, kind of the forerunner to the Performer that we all know of today. It had a nice ash pan system underneath to catch all the ash. They started with steel wheels, and they made these through the early 80s, early 1980s.
That's not new.
This is one of the earliest ones with the steel wheels. Now, here's a great example of a 1969 kettle. As you can see here, patent pending.
Pretty sure you just said, here's a great example of 69.
Did I really? I'm not even drunk. So, edit. We have recording.
Yeah, but I can edit.
All right.
Or I could just leave it in.
1969, they went away from the thumb screws, went to the friction sockets. Still have steel wheels, plastic hubcaps, and the lid vent. The lid vent would say patent pending right here to let you know that that was the patent they applied for the leg sockets. Perfect. In 1973, they introduced an electric kettle. They also introduced a gas kettle in 71.
Side table?
Our gas kettle, I think, is over on the other side. We can look at that later. Gas kettle from the early 70s, and the patent number on the lid, the patent was granted on November 10th, 1970. However, it did not start appearing on the lids till about 1970, late 72, early 73 for the leg sockets. So if you have a patent pending grill, what year it's from is going to depend largely on what kind of wheels you have. If you have steel wheels with a patent pending, it's probably 69, early 1970. If you got the rubber treads with plastic rims, probably 71, 72 is the highest probability. 73, when they put the patent number on the lid vent, they started going to the early all plastic wheels with the plastic treads. That'll give you a good idea of how old your grill is. Weber used those wheels from 1973 through about early 1976, maybe late 75. This over here,
Woodard?
Yeah, this is a Woodard cart. Weber made several models through Woodard for their metal carts. The Seville, which we'll talk about in a minute. This is the Woodard. They had an 18. What's unique about these, they still put the handles on the bowl, but they had, oh, this one does have daisy vents. There were some that did not have daisy vents at all.
Really?
In the bowl. In fact, most of them did not. So, because there was no ash pan system for these, there was like a cutting board, usually a work surface, like a cutting board usually, and then here was like a little tray, little deep tray.
It's got new handles.
Put tools
I know,
in.
that's really nice.
And then over here we go to about 1975. Still have a barbecue kettle lid vent, still have the early plastic wheels, but another example of a change is they went to this is a bent up example, but these are the large dual bowl tabs that you commonly find today on the WSM 22s. They went away from the small bowl tabs, but they still kept them up top for a few years yet. And around 75, they started adding the logo to the wood handles right here between the rivets. Can't make out that example there, but mid-70s is when the logo started to appear on the kettle. And that's a thumb screw avocado, late 60s.
All right. So I'm not sure what really happened, but after we shot the group photo and the police arrived, there's just no more footage. So I did want to say thank you again to everyone who came out, especially the people who helped arrange this thing. Brian, Jeff, Craig, Brian's family for leaving the house. Not leaving the house. For allowing us to take over the house and the yard for days. Everything was great. All the people that came in from afar made it extra special just to hear that. It's the Weber Kettle Club's 5th anniversary, and this party really shows how great of a community it is. And I wanted to thank everyone for being a part of it. Thanks again. Looking forward to next year.
Hey, dueling cameras. Hey, what's up?
You're not live, are you?
We'll do it live!